Christmas, my friend! Christmas!
Since I bought this house between Simon Callow and Brian Blessed, it's caused me problems around the festive season, listeners, because when I hear that sound, listen, I simply don't know whether it's Santa or Blessed
Simon, have you got the wrapping
or
paper?
Callow. Oh, it's Blessed.
Have you got the wrapping paper,
He
Simon?
said Simon. Do you know what that sound is, listeners? My house is directly between Callow and Blessed. That's the sound of Blessed talking to Callow through the walls of my house.
Brian, I don't have any wrapping paper. The
Does
wrapping
Callow.
paper's been stolen, for goodness sake, you...
Can you hear that as clearly as I can hear that, listeners?
I haven't got any wrapping paper left, so I'm going to have to wrap this in my own...
I paid £750,000 for this house.
own pants!
I'm
gonna
mortgaged
use my
up to
pants
my-
for wrapping paper again!
Ball eyes.
Blimey, they're being very loud this evening.
Oh, hey, man. They are being very loud. I wish they could just go round or speak on the phone, but shouting to each other through my house is really antisocial.
Can you imagine them texting each other? It would
they
all be capitals, wouldn't it?
If they weren't such extraordinary actors,
They're good actors, I'll
I
tell
would
you that
complain.
much. I'll give you that much for free. So, folks, it's Christmas Eve. Oh, boy. I mean, that's almost my favourite part of Christmas, right?
My cockles have never been warmer.
Yeah.
They're absolutely boiling.
Do you have a little Christmas Eve ritual at all? I mean, in the olden days, when we lived near to each other, we would go round to each other's houses. You guys... Oh, a little bit of phlegm there. It's Christmas phlegm.
Festive phlegm.
Festive phlegm.
Mistlegob.
We would all converge at my parents' house in Clapham. My dad would get a little bit tooty on champagne and regale us with stories of the old days. And Joe and Louis would sit by the fire and sort of chuckle at him. And I would join in. It was good times, man.
Good times. They're gone now.
Are they? But no, we've got some good times for you right here, listeners. This is a compilation of some of our favourite moments from the programme throughout the year. We really hope you enjoy it.
It's 2 hours long, isn't that correct? And it's full of chit-chat highlights from a full year of Adam and Joe radio shows here on BBC Six Music. And some of the exciting topics that we're going to cover include our trip to Glastonbury.
MP's expenses, mate. That was a hot button topic this year. All over it.
The BBC's Points of View programme, The Archers.
Blah boobity baya.
And lots of contributions that you, the listeners, made to various Text the Nations. So you never know, you could be featured in this programme.
That's exciting for you, isn't it? Because let's not forget that you, listeners, are the backbone of the show. And without you, it would be a formless pile of dog poo.
Yep.
Sorry, that's going a bit too far, isn't it?
That's not very Christmassy.
Not a Christmassy image, is it? No. It's a formless pile of dog poo. So listen, here's some David Bowie. He's one of our favourite artists on the programme. And this is a very special song for me. This is the first song I ever learned how to play on the guitar.
Oh.
And I sang this to my beautiful wife at our wedding in front of my friends and family.
Oh.
And I'm still a little bit embarrassed about it.
No, you're not.
I have to tell you. Yeah, I really am. Sometimes I wake up at night sweating, thinking... Oh, maybe that wasn't the best idea. But here's David doing the proper version of Kooks.
What a funny face, but beautiful eyes, though.
Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear.
The bear was Fuzzy Wuzzy.
Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. I don't know the rest of that poem.
You've ruined the Fuzzy Wuzzy poem. When Fuzzy Wuzzy lost his hair, he wasn't fuzzy, was he? Was. Iman, is that the phone ringing? Was. Sorry.
This is Adam and Joe at Glastonbury 2009 live for BBC Six Music. And don't forget, there's full coverage of the festival for the rest of the day here on Six Music. And you can find all sorts of exciting feeds from all the stages at bbc.co.uk/Glastonbury. If you're at home, some may say you're in a better position to enjoy the festival than if you're here. I mean, they'd be slightly foolish.
Yeah, because it's been an absolutely beautiful festival. We've been very lucky with the weather thus far. Anyway, listen, folks, we're going to fill you in now on how we got on yesterday when we went to the cabaret tent and did a stint of live performing for the crowds and for Black Squadron, who turned up in their hundreds to see us read out some classic made-up jokes.
Yeah, if you've contributed a joke to this show, listen carefully, because you never know, your material might have been read out in front of a Glastonbury crowd. Check it out.
BBC Six Music, live from Glastonbury 2009 with Adam and Joe.
Hey listeners, we're outside the cabaret tent. Kevin Eldon is on inside. It's a very, very packed audience in there.
It is. Quite a few people have turned up to see us, which is very heartening. We're just doing this little link outside the tent, and would you say 15 people with cameras have gathered around us?
Yeah, Black Squadron are here basically.
It's the Black Squadron paparazzi division.
It's amazing.
They're papping us.
And this is intense Stevenage we're getting as well.
Never has there been so much Stevenage. There's waving and excitement.
Look, check this out. If I shout Stephen right now, I'm going to get a good response.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Let's try it.
1, 2, 3. Stephen!
That's pretty good.
Look at that.
Pretty good. They've had a tough weekend, so they're not as tight as they might be.
We didn't even arrange
still
that.
High quality. That was very good indeed.
So here we go.
Hey! Stephen! Woo! This is amazing. This is maximum Stevenage. If you don't know who the hell we are or what we're talking about, we're Adam and Joe. I'm Adam.
Hello, I'm Joe.
We do a radio show on BBC Six Music. We used to be on television a long time ago, before 9/11. 9/11 changed all that. We've been banned from TV now. But we're here tonight to do a very, very fast set, a 4-minute set of pure comedy uranium. These are made-up jokes that our listeners have sent in to us.
Yeah, we have to stress, these are all authored by real people. They're not made by joke scientists. These are organic, fair trade jokes, for the new millennium.
And to maximise the efficiency of this set, we're going to ask you not to make any noise at all.
If you think the jokes are terrible, please stay silent. If you think they're amazing, please stay completely silent. We're going to try and get 3 minutes of pure silence, and at the very end, you can let it all out.
You can respond in any way you please. We'll give you the cue, and then you can let it all out. But until then, absolute silence for these extraordinary made-up jokes. I'm going to begin by setting the scene with a joke I made up myself that got the ball rolling on our radio show. I'm very pleased with it. What do you call a group of rapping babies? The No Solids crew. No noise!
There was some noise. Here's one I made up when my girlfriend said to me, "Oh, Joe, I've got really bad indigestion." Quick as a flash, I came back with, "Well, why don't you get out of digestion?"
No noise.
Tiny bit noise.
This is a joke from Gareth in Letwick Major. What do you call an Italian who can talk to the dead? Luigi board.
Another one from Gareth. My cat Minton ate a shuttlecock. Bad, Minton. Boy.
How do you find Will Smith in the snow? Look for Fresh Prince. Just take a tiny second to take that in, and let's move on.
It's important for me to tell you that this next joke is written by a 4-year-old, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, you've got these?
4-year-old. Yeah. What do you call a man with a spade on his head? The poo monster.
These are from Merrick Cartwright, incidentally, aged 4. Why did the chicken cross the road? He was being chased by the poo monster. Arnold Schwarzenegger was upset last Easter because he didn't get any eggs. His secretary said to him, "Does this mean you hate Easter now, Mr. Governor?" And he said, "Nah, I still love Easter, baby." That's it! Made up jokes!
We're Adam and Joe. Thank you very much to any listeners who've come to see us. Thanks to everybody else. Have a great festival. Bye!
We have just come off stage at the cabaret tent. We just completed our made-up joke set. And how did you feel it went, Joe?
I was excited. I think it went really well. I made a couple of pronunciatory boo-boos, but I feel that's part of my shtick.
It was brilliant. We turned
People
it round.
love
I ribbed you a little bit about it, and
did.
you took
I
the
took it
ribbing
well.
really well. You didn't punch me or get very
I
defensive.
thought you might get angry because, you're the stand-up and I was doing really well and probably level with you, and I just thought you might be getting a bit angry
I might be
and
threatened
jealous.
by it.
Yeah, threatened by my kind of untutored stand-up skills.
Thought I'd be annoyed by the fact that you haven't got any formal training or formal skills.
And there I
yet
am,
the
sort
crowd
of
were responding well to
like
you.
Michael Caine versus Al Pacino,
Yeah, exactly. Black
But what a
Squadron,
great crowd.
They came out in droves.
If anyone's
for us.
listening to this who was in that crowd, thank you for coming and
You've
for giving
made
us
two
such a welcome.
very happy men, very, very old.
This is Adam and Joe on BBC Six Music. One of the biggest challenges of coming to the Glastonbury Festival, aside from surviving the festival itself, it's the journey.
Oh, yes.
It's getting down here. Like, one year you and I drove, didn't we, Adam?
Yeah.
Back in the days when we were doing telly coverage for BBC Choice.
hell were we thinking?
drove down. How long did we sit in a jam for?
7 hours.
7 hours. It was infuriating.
It was.
Nothing worse than being stuck in a jam, as Michael
Especially-
Douglas can attest.
Exactly.
You know, in this big metal box sitting in the middle of God knows where, Lord knows where.
I ran
unable
out of
to move.
music to play. I had my mini disc player, and I thought I'd done pretty well stocking up for the music. I was down to the really rotten stuff by
And
the end of that.
they
show.
might have improved it over the years, but the roads around Glastonbury become notoriously congested leading up to the festival. Various local villages have to be sort of circled off by security men and stuff. It's a big hoo-ha.
It's an absolute diamond
It's one of the
hoo-ha.
largest of all the hoo-has.
Yeah.
So this year we decided to come by train. And we got our agents to pressure the BBC into sending us down in minor style, right? A cheap weekend first-class upgrade.
Yeah.
Because the carriages were very full. So I was sitting in first class, and some other people had the same idea. They'd bought the cheap first-class upgrade.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of lads sitting opposite me. I say lads, they were in their mid to late 30s. Obviously childhood friends. They sat down, they'd obviously sort of got off a week's work early, and they were going to relive their youth by going down to Glasgow together like they did maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah.
They went to the buffet as soon as it opened. How many tins of beer do you think they got each?
Each, well, if it was me, I'd go for a couple.
8.
8
8 each. 2-hour journey, 8 each. What's the maths on that?
That's unbelievable. What, 4
What's
of
that,
them?
one every 15 minutes?
That's extraordinary.
That was extraordinary. They started off with quite intelligent conversation, but then, and they were sitting right near me. I was trying to read my paper, but I couldn't help but listen to every single word they were saying.
Yeah.
They started to have a burping competition.
Did they?
Yeah, and then the burping competition, it devolved into a farting competition.
In executive class, this is.
Was in premiere class. They started blowing off really loud, classic raspberry farts.
What the hell?
And I thought, this can't go on, so I broke the fourth wall again.
No.
Like I did at the King Creosote gig.
Oh, you intervened.
And I turned to them and said, how old did you say you are? 37.
That was
with
your
a smile.
opening gambit.
It was a nice,
Right.
light-hearted thing to say.
It
And they
was.
looked at me and laughed, but they were mortified.
Nice and
Cornish
light-hearted.
managed to do his mortifying act
Were you
again.
shaking while you said it?
No, I'm used to this kind of thing. I'm a professional, professional party pooper.
Yeah.
And then we had a little chit-chat, that was fine, but they were obviously so freaked out at being caught at being juvenile.
Yeah.
They tried to then turn their conversation into something more intellectual. I wrote down some of the stuff they said immediately after the farting incident.
People you don't ever want to be stuck in a confined space with.
Me.
Number 1, Joe Cornish.
There was some giggling after the farting had been exposed, and they sort of didn't know what to do next. Their style was cramped by me.
What a weird.
So they started to talk about films, and one of them said, you know what the best film is ever made? Citizen Kane. Do you know why? 2 words. Greg Toland. Depth of field. 75% of all communication's non-verbal. It's about seeing the ceiling. He started to go super intellectual about
Right.
Citizen Kane to try and convince me,
Yeah.
the cornballs, that they weren't just fartmeisters.
And they completely stopped guffing. It wasn't like
The guffing
amazing depths of
stopped.
field.
But he was really making a conscious effort to try and turn his reputation around.
Yeah.
I don't know what their names were. I won't embarrass them. But they were having a good time. And you know what the sweetest thing was? When the train pulled up at Castle Carey and the tannoy announced where we were, they both high-fived each other like
Hey.
a couple of excited 15-year-olds. It was
Wow.
very sweet. And they fell out of the train on their faces and fell asleep on the platform. As far as I know, they're still there.
Are you going to tell anyone else in the festival off today?
I'm going to tell a lot of people off in the festival.
We
yeah.
should, after the show's finished, we should go out there and record you just telling some people off.
They were farting. Like, would you have just tolerated the farting? It was stinky as well. You can't do stinky guffs in first class, can you?
No, I admire your interventionary skills. That's very impressive.
Yeah.
How old did you say you were?
But I don't paint me as some kind of like headmaster type character.
No, why would I?
It was it was jovial. It was friendly.
Yeah.
We're good pals.
That's cool. Good.
Hey, it's Adam and Joe, and you're listening to a highlights programme of the best of our show from the past year here on Christmas Eve. But this isn't an old bit, right? This isn't a highlight bit. This is a new bit we've specially recorded. Amazing new bit. It's an amazing new bit. Listen to what we're going to say. Adam's going to say something amazing in a second. 3, 2, 1.
We'll be with you back after the news. I ruined it! My one bit of new thing that I had to... We'll be back after the news.
It's disappointing.
But this has worked out nicely. You know what? This link is going to be in next year's highlights package.
Isn't it? Because it's so Brill's skills.
Oh, do you remember the We'll be back after the news link? That's my favourite.
But it's good to be a tiny bit disappointed at Christmas, isn't it?
That's what it's all about.
It's what it's all about. It's about rising above that disappointment. Disappointment of when your broadcasting partner fails to say something amazing.
It
when
is.
you command him to completely unexpectedly.
'Tis the season to hide your disappointment. La 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 la.
Here's the news.
On digital radio and online.
This is Adam and Joe on BBC Six Music. I've just got a bit of advice for some people in the BBC. Some of our fellow Big British Castle dwellers. It was the last episode of Points of View this week.
Oh, really?
Do you ever watch Points of View?
No, who's hosting it these days?
Jeremy Vine.
Vine.
It used to be, I think I'm right in saying it's Vine, aren't I, James?
Used to be Anne Robinson.
It was Wogan for a bit.
Then it was was it Paul Heaney?
Points of View that it's important for every television channel to have a show in which the listeners can get, have their say.
Barry Took was the king, wasn't he?
Was he? Back in the day.
Yeah.
But isn't it important for there to be a forum within a channel where viewers can have their say and get a sense of feedback?
They've got to have their right to reply.
Especially for the BBC in this day and age. There's been a lot of scrutiny of the BBC and its values and all that kind of business. So in a way, Points of View is a very important programme because it should seriously reflect that listeners' points of view are being taken seriously.
Yeah.
And you would have thought that would be reflected in the theme music, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I've no idea what the theme music is.
Well,
these days.
this is the theme music that the BBC have decided to use for Points of View, and they have kind of improved the rest of the show. In the old days, the letters used to be read out by sort of comedy voices. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And it was just a tiny bit dismissive and making light of people's complaints. And I think they changed that. It's now presented by Jeremy Vine, and in the old days it was in a sort of front room, a cosy sort of front room with some flowers. Now it's in a sort of, he's leaning on a control desk. It's as if it's more serious and like the news, and as if your complaints are really getting to a place that matters.
Yeah.
But they've made all those improvements.
The control desk.
But they're still using a theme tune that maybe doesn't reflect the necessary respect for their listeners.
Because I would imagine it would be something like the news, you know?
Yes, a serious and important...
Yeah, like a current affairs theme.
Yeah. Well, no, this is the theme tune they use.
Blah boobity blah ya blah 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 boobity blah ya boo blah 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 boobity blah ya blah 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 blah.
You made that up.
No, that's the real theme music. I had to edit it a bit there because the iPlayer kept stalling.
It does that. Is that really the theme music?
That's the theme music.
Blah boobity blah ya blah blah blah.
Blah,
Let's have it
blah,
again.
Blah.
Blah boobity blah ya blah 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 boobity blah ya boo blah 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 boobity blah ya blah 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 blah.
Now, the BBC has been in some quite serious, trouble in the last year or so, and that's just a tip to my colleagues in the castle. You might want to change that music.
Blah boobity blah ya blah blah. Who made that? I mean, whoever done that is a jingle genius for a start.
It's good music, but maybe on the wrong show.
On the wrong show.
Yeah.
See, that would be good theme music for our show.
It would. Well, maybe we should sing over it or do an extended mix.
We should
of it.
do a jingle for. We should do a new piece of theme music
we should
for their
send them
show.
the Black Squadron music or something.
I'll try and think of some new music for their show, right? And they can have that, and we can use blah boobity baya.
We need to find out who composed that.
Who composed blah boobity baya?
I'd love to go to a live concert by them. Wouldn't you? I wonder what the album's like.
For their encore, they'd come out and they'd do that 4 more times.
Anyway, message to Vine there, and
play blah boobity baya.
Let's keep an eye on the next series of Points of View and see whether they stick with that music.
I'm sick of playing blah boobity baya. It's all anyone asks for. We're reforming the band. Oh no, we're gonna have to play blah boobity baya again.
The largest amount of pots, pans and kitchen implements ever used at once on a pop record. Did you know that?
That was Kiss of Life by Friendly Fires. You invented that fact, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was an invented fact. We should have an invented fact jingle
We'd
on
be
this
playing
show.
it round the clock.
That was an invented fact. that was based on spurious guesswork. Could be the other jingle.
Yeah.
Kiss of
That's a good
Life
idea.
by Friendly Fires is the song we just played. Friendly Fires are presenting a show on Six Music this Sunday as part of our month of Mercuries. And they didn't win anything at the Mercuries, I'm afraid to say. But that hasn't stopped them, putting their chin up, jutting their chin out and saying, never mind, there's always next year. There's always the chance we might get a Mercury nom next year.
Who won the Mercury nom last year?
Well, the big Mercury winners were Elbow, weren't they?
Ah, were they?
And this year it was Speech to Bell. I mean, Elbow was sort of well established before they won the Mercury. So there's no question of them fading from view the way some people who have won the Mercury Prize in the past have done.
Have they really? Do some people consider it as a bit of a kiss of death?
Well, it's a poisoned chalice for some people, isn't it? Who was the guy? Ronnie Size and his Represent.
Right, you don't really want approbation from above, do you, if you're a rebellious pop type?
No, exactly.
You don't want to be form prefect or
You
the
don't
head
want to
boy.
be stroked by the head boy.
You want
No.
to be at the back of the bus flicking V's.
Well done, Speech to Bell. Well done. All the chaps think you've done a brilliant job on your album.
Gobbing in the street is the best gobbing in the school. Well done with your phlegmy bits.
You're a naughty chap, and we think that's great. Top marks. Here's a prize and a cheque to go with.
We've given up trying to get everybody to speak proper. From now on, the whole school gonna speak not proper.
And you're going to be the leader of them.
Wicked well done. Gribbit.
Gribbit. Listen, I'm not going to dress the same way as you, just so you know, or behave like you, or actually listen to the records you're making, but good job, there's the cheque.
I want people to think I'm cool like you. Stand next to you, give you a prize. Look at me, disco dancing. Speech to Bell, come round for dinner with me. That's what the head of the Mercury. It's a little song he sung just backstage after he'd given her the prize.
You know, the people that decide the Mercury Prize, the nominees and the winners, are nothing like that.
Freddie Mercury.
It's nothing to do with Freddie Mercury. They're all young, intelligent, groovy people. Nothing like the way we've just characterised
It's another
them.
made-up fact.
It's another made-up fact.
You see, we just have to have that as a music bed, basically, not a jingle.
Now, can you hear that I've got a cold?
Yeah, listeners, Adam came in today looking very under the weather with a terrible cold.
Yeah. I've got
And you're doing very well done coming in.
Got some medicated tissues. Well, I wasn't sure if I should come in because,
Really?
a few months back, it was a big deal. Like on the news, it was like, well, if you've got a cold, should you go into work? And the consensus was no. You shouldn't, because it's putting your co-workers at risk of the pandemic. But then I thought the pandemic's over a little. You just flinched because
Well, I did, because
shouted.
you said that very loud, and I suddenly had a sort of medical flash
You were
frame.
right. I should have covered my mouth with
I could
my...
see the disease molecules flying through the air towards
I'm
me.
covering my mouth with a medicated tissue
I
now.
had a macro flash.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Keep talking.
If I carry on talking
It's very
like
rustly
that...
because of the
throughout
beard.
show. Right. I can't do that. It's ridiculous. But no, I did wonder if I should come in. But then on the other hand, the good thing about having a cold is that it does give a special quality to your voice, right? A special kind of a timbre.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's sounding good.
I sound a bit like the lady. Who's the lady that does the sort of trails before our show starts? Can you play that thing?
The sexy bored one.
The sexy one. She says everything the same way.
I'm so bored
Here
and
she is.
sexy.
Six Music.
Today from 2, John Holmes.
Yeah.
From midday, Liz Kershaw.
What?
And now,
And
it's
now-
Adam and
Who
Joe.
cares?
She just talks like that.
Stuff them down the
all
toilet.
the time.
Who
Listen,
cares?
darling, I'm going to the shops. Do you want anything? Actually, hang on.
Tonight. What? Half price. Fish fingers. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want fish fingers for tea? Okay, that's what we'll have. Do you want potatoes or broccoli?
It's 7:15.
Or both.
The bill.
What's that?
I don't know why she extended it there. I
The
think she got
bill.
stuck.
So, Joe, MPs, expenses.
Oh, I'm glad you've brought this up because there hasn't been enough talk about this subject in the media.
I know you like hot button topics.
I love hot button topics.
I saw Dervla Cohen. Do you know the actress Dervla Cohen? She was in Ballykiss Angel, and she's a well-known TV actress. And she was on The One Show. Is it still called The One Show?
Yes.
With Adrian Childs and the lady. And they were talking about MPs' expenses and that, and they just asked Dervla Cohen, And I thought maybe she'd come out with some kind of wishy-washy. Yeah, well, that's shocking. That's what I would come out with if I was asked about that on a TV show. She was absolutely adamant. She said, it's a disgrace. Yeah. It's an absolute disgrace. We've been let down. I spent my whole life being honest. I never fiddled a single thing in my life. And I think it's shocking. And even Adrian Charles was like, what, you never fiddled anything? Not a single thing, you've been dishonest. No! Came the answer from... She said it nicer than that. She didn't shout. But her attitude was saying...
Well, now I'm worried about you and Adrian Charles.
Why?
Because you've clearly fiddled things.
Have you not fiddled nothing?
Never.
Never. You're like Dervla Cohen.
Fiddled anything.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I do believe Dervla Cohen. I don't believe you. You are the fiddler. You're Johnny Fiddler.
What thing to accuse me of? What's your evidence?
You're the Yehudi Menuhin of life.
I fiddled.
You love to fiddle.
What? Where's your evidence?
I don't know. I'm projecting. I fiddled lots of things.
Well, clearly.
You've never taken like toilet paper from work?
No.
Bit of computer printing paper?
Pens. Sometimes I steal pens.
You're the fiddler.
Biros.
Yehudi
Is that
Menuhin.
bad?
Yes.
Could an MP be thrown out of court for nicking a biro?
Definitely.
What about a lighter? Sometimes I go home with other people's lighters. In the past, I've done that.
Public apology.
I hereby apologise unreservedly to listeners of the BBC for
Write out a check.
In 1985 taking Chris Barnes's Bic lighter accidentally from his house.
Now you've busted Barnes for being a filthy smoker. He's not going to thank you for that.
This was in the 80s.
Yeah, well.
Everyone smoked in the 80s.
That's true.
It was healthy.
It was acceptable in the 80s.
That's the only thing you've ever fiddled, is it? You've never tried to... You are such a liar.
I know I'm not a big fiddler. I'm not a big fiddler, but
He can't even look at me.
Well, I'm not looking at it because I'm starting to remember some of your fiddles, and I don't want to talk about them on the air.
What about the photographs that we've got of your fiddles? All the good times that we used to have.
Oh, okay. Now I'm remembering. That wasn't fiddling. That was stealing.
Oh, right.
That wasn't as subtle as fiddling.
Fiddling's a nice word for stealing.
That was just theft. I may have done some shoplifting in the 80s, but
not true.
That's something that lots of kids go through.
That's not true. We're not encouraging it by any means.
No, it's a terrible thing, but that's a bit different. That's a kind of rite of passage when you're discovering the nature of property.
You weren't
and
shoplifting,
theft.
though. Come on.
I was.
No,
kind of.
Wasn't.
All right.
Wasn't technically shoplifting. As a member of the Big British Cast, you could even get thrown out retrospectively for admitting something like
I did in 1986.
Definitely. Come on. If they're putting people in prison for with DNA evidence, I mean, that's murder. Obviously, it's slightly different, but. Yeah, they could retrospectively caution you, hang you out, because they don't. The castle. I can't
believe that this link has ended up with me being forced into a criminal confession.
I didn't
about
force you.
Petty shoplifting I did in the mid '80s, when it started out with MP's tax fiddling, and now I'm on the ropes.
See, this is
I've already got eye
this
twitch
is a good
and
example
a bad chest.
of me. I didn't want you to confess to any grand larceny. I was interested in pens.
I've been skillfully manipulated. I've been skillfully manipulated by Sherlock Buxton into making a confession.
We better play some more music before we're all fired.
A couple of weeks ago, we did a little grunting masterclass.
Yes, a couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I was harnessing Adam's skills as a screen actor to just take you listeners through some of the grunting skills that are required for performances in action films. That's good, man. What was that?
That was lifting a manhole cover with a body lying across it.
Yes. Very good, very good. Important part of any actor's repertoire to be able to grunt for big screen movies. But I've always been fascinated by The Archers, the Radio 4 drama series.
Are you a listener?
I listen every now and then. I'm in a room when other people are listening.
Sure.
Or I catch the beginning and switch it off. But I do love The Archers. Mm-hmm. And it's occurred to me that there's a special skill required for acting in The Archers, similar to the skill of grunting for action films. In The Archers, it seems to me moaning and sighing is very important.
That's good.
Seems to me when I listen to The Archers on Radio 4 that they're constantly coming into a room and sighing, making tea, and then sighing again, and then that's the end of the scene.
That's the default tone of the Archers? That's
I think so. It
sort of
seems
ennui.
It's something that permeates Radio 4 drama as a whole is sort of abject sighing.
It's a good way of emoting on the radio.
Yeah, well, it's important. It's obviously you can't. There's nothing to look at, no face to express. So you've got to use the voice as a. I mean, you know this, Adam, already as an experienced actor.
Yeah.
You've got to use the voice as a tool in radio, very particularly. But I don't know. Maybe sometimes it gets a little bit much on the Archers.
Right.
There's a little bit too much sighing. I wondered what would happen, for instance, if I took an episode of the Archers and removed everything but the sighing. I wondered what that would sound like, so I done it.
You've done it. Let's have a listen.
This is what it sounds like.
Thanks. Anyway.
Tom.
Brenda.
Hey.
Now you see, it's not bad, is it?
No, it sounds good, man, because you got ups and downs, peaks and troughs in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts off quite fruity there. There's a little...
Well, it does. It sounds like quite a dirty evening in Ambridge, doesn't it? Ambridge, what's it called?
Ambridge, right.
Yeah.
Ambridge.
Ambridge, it's like Cambridge.
It's near Cambridge. Yeah. No, that was nice. It starts off very, very saucy and then gets a little bit tiring and then...
Yeah, and then, Tom.
Annoying.
Yeah, and then it sort of kicks off again.
Yeah.
But are you good at sighing there? Could you do that sort of sighing? What if just come in the door and say, you've come home from a busy day's work and you're just calling into the house to see if anyone else is there. Go.
Hello.
That's good, you see. What about if the inspector has come to inspect the drainage systems on the farm and he's laid down a lot of new EU rules on how you're going to have to put the drainage down and you're telling your husband about all the new EU rules.
Well, there's a lot of new EU rules about the drainage.
That's good. You really did that one well.
I mean, I exhaled as much as I could.
What about just you've had a hard day and you've just had a sip of tea and you've put the tea cup down and this is a sigh that just expresses all the ennui in your life, you know.
Okay. I'm going to sip the tea first, right?
Yeah,
just to warn you, there'll be a sound effect for that.
No, that was terrible.
Too much.
Yeah, that sounded like a horse doing a poo.
You said everything. You said put everything in there.
Yeah, but it came out as a incontinent foal horse.
All right.
Stallion. I don't think anyone in Ambridge would sip tea like that.
Well, I'm doing it. I'm exaggerating. You're not a very good supportive director, I must say.
Man, I can see you on one of the Underworld films, yes, but not in The Archers. You're too big.
Too big?
I think we need an actor or actress from The Archers
I
to
can
come
do
and
subtle.
teach you about sighing. That's good, you see.
That's better, isn't it?
Wow.
I mean, the drinking was still too much, but...
Yeah. Anyway, there we go. That was a little glimpse into the secret world of The Archers for you listeners. Music time? What about some Joy Division? This is Love Will Tear Us Apart.
We were talking the other day about songs that you kind of customise so that you can sing them as part of your everyday routine. This all started with someone saying that they sung... Lock the taskbar. Lock the taskbar.
Only somebody emailed us in annoyed that we said it in a kind of posh voice and elongated the A.
Oh, yeah.
Because, of course, it could be taskbar.
Yeah, lock the taskbar.
If you're from a different area of Britain.
Well,
somebody got quite angry in a class-orientated way.
Really?
Via email, yeah.
People do that, don't
Said
they?
we were too posh to execute that
Class
joke
war.
properly.
Tough luck, Buster.
Yeah, socialist worker.
Yeah. Well, we've got a couple more here. Some good ones have come in. Actually, this one is from Steve, a.k.a. Stephen, ! Curran, the man at the very epicentre of the Stephen phenomenon.
He's one of the founding stones of the show.
He is the Rosetta Stone
Yeah.
of this programme. Steve Curran says, when my flatmate and I are drinking red wine, we sometimes open the bottle a little beforehand to let it breathe. It improves the taste, of course. When we do this, we like to sing, let it breathe, let it breathe, let it breathe, let it breathe, to the tune of Let It Be by the Beatles.
That's good.
Yeah? That's a posh one as well. I like that one. Let it breathe. They could hold hands and sing that one
Yeah,
as well.
everyone could sing in unison.
That is so bourgeois, isn't it? While they're waiting for their wine to breathe a little bit. I love that. Here's one from Graham. He says, I used to have a pair of blue boxers with pictures of wolves on them, given to me by my mum. Mum gives the best pants, don't they?
I love his mum.
I mean, they always give good pants.
Mums have just got a really good sense of pants.
They really
They're born
do.
with it.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, mums and they know their pants.
A woman. Which I became very attached to, my wolf pants, says Graham. When donning them of a morning, I used to sing to the tune of Mr. Sandman, Mr. Wolf Pants, show me your pants, bong, 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 make them a nice pair of blue shiny scants.
Yeah.
What's wrong
Not
with
sure
that?
what to say. Nothing.
Mr. Wolf Pants, show me your pants, bong, 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 bong.
Mr. Wolf Pants.
That's good, Graham. He says it used to amuse me no end and may actually have led to the early demise of some of my relationships. Worth it, though, I think, and I miss them dearly. It is sad when a favourite pair of pants is no longer usable.
Do you think he sung that when he was with a lady and maybe they were reaching a
Special moment.
an intimate moment in their relationship?
And he comes
and
out.
he was dropping his Strawbridges and the Wolf Pants. Do you think he would sing that at that moment? I'm Mr. Wolf Pants. Would that get a lady going? Would things continue as planned? You don't see that in many films, do you?
Imagine, though.
Mr. Wolf Pants. Boom, 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 boom.
Show me your pants, bum, 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 bum. Make them a nice pair of blue shiny scants, bum, bum, bum. Please turn on your magic beam,
Oh,
Mr.
hello.
Wolf Pants.
Please
bring
turn
me
on your magic
dream.
beam.
I just finished that bit for him. I think that would be a sexy scene in a film.
sexy.
Can you imagine, though, if you met a girl and without prompting, she sang to you that song, you know? So you drop your trousers and she sees your wolf pants for the first time and she just starts spontaneously singing, Mr. Wolf Pants. Bring me
In that
a
slightly
dream.
sexy, breathy voice.
Yeah.
She's really excited. Mr. That's far-fetched, man. That's really far-fetched.
Yeah, but you would know that you
If that
found
happened,
the one.
yeah, if that happened, you should just live on a desert island on your own, the two of you, forever.
Your wolf pants would just explode off you with excitement at that point.
Yeah.
Jingles, Christmas jingles. Where's the bells for the jingles? Who nicked the jingle bells?
Now, we had a few messages from people who had heard my voice on the Philippe Starck sort of, what would you call it? It's not really a documentary, is it?
No, I don't think it is a documentary.
It's one of those kind of elimination
It's a reality
shows.
series.
It's like a reality elimination thing, a little bit like The Apprentice.
It's a design apprentice.
Right,
The
right.
Apprentice for Contemporary Design.
And it's on BBC, is it on Tuesday evenings?
I don't know.
Sometime around
It's
there.
a prime time proposition though. It's like a 9 o'clock thing, and
he's a ridiculous, over the top French design figure. I mean, he's a
also
legend,
quite brilliant
in the industry. You reckon he's brilliant, do you?
Well, he is, because he's completely distinct, and you can tell a Philippe Starck thing.
Can
can't
you? What's his most famous design?
The Philippe Starck golf ball, of course.
Is that true?
Yes, it is a triangle.
Well, someone suggested the other day that I replace or fool around with the VO, because I do the voiceover,
You
right?
do the voiceover, yeah, and it is disconcerting.
Yeah.
I mean, I sat down and watched it the first week it was on. As
and
soon
I'm
as
trying
I
to do
realised it had your voice in it,
I tried to do a
watched it
serious
no more.
one as well.
Yeah, but it's hard not for it to be a bit funny, even when you try and do your serious voice.
Well, I was directed to be serious by the director.
But it's odd, and especially when we know that you do quite an outrageously peculiar French accent yourself.
Yeah.
It does not sound dissimilar to Stark's outrageously peculiar French accent.
Well, with that in mind, I've slightly retooled the first minute or so of the programme.
Good one.
World-renowned designer Philippe Starck has set out to find Britain's best young creative talent.
Great design is all about the unexpected idea, like a bed made out of glass, or a glass made out of glass, and a bed.
From hundreds of online applicants, he chose 12 to join his School of Design in Paris.
Bonjour, les Anglais, pouboulala!
Now he's putting them through their paces to find the best of the best.
Are you the best of the best?
Yes.
Okay, you stay.
Thank you.
One up-and-coming designer who's worthy of a place at his own agency.
I am crazy. Okay, I'll say what I think, because I'm a genius. Look at my nipples. Woo-hoo.
So far, he has challenged them to rethink everything they know.
Okay, you know mugs, okay, for drinking the coffee, the tea. Rethink. Instead, use the smashed hat of a tramp.
He has praised their high moments.
Oh, Tina, you make the chair out of the lolly sticks. That's clever.
And slammed their low ones.
This chair is made of actual lollies. That's no good.
And when students fail to meet his exacting standards...
Why do none of the mice have shoes? Can you tell me this? Where are the shoes for the mice?
A return journey through the Channel Tunnel beckons.
I want you to go out through the Channel Tunnel now, like a big fart. Because that's what you are to me, a massive, great fart of a person. Go away, get out of my sight, out of it now. And take your lolly chair with you.
That's a better programme.
Yeah, come on.
It's a much better programme. You know what I'd also like to hear is the voiceover done in that voice as well. Just the whole thing.
Wall to wall.
Just insane French-orama.
And have, instead of British students, insane French students as well.
That was excellent. Thanks for doing that. We need some music to recover now.
Hey folks, Adam and Joe here. Hope you're enjoying the compilation show. But listen, it's news time, right? The news doesn't stop for nothing, not even the compilation shows.
Not even Santa can stop the news.
No, and he's tried.
The news would trundle over Santa and crush him and all his reindeers.
Exactly.
To a bloody furry pulp. A bloody furry beardy pulp. Which is an awful, awful image for Christmas Eve. But, you know, we've got to prepare ourselves. Hope for the best. Prepare for the worst.
Jarvis Cocker could do a Christmassy band called the Bloody Furry Pulp. Right, is that a good news intro? That's the one you're going to get. Here it is, the news time.
On digital radio.
That was the Specials with Rat Race. Very nice to hear that. Don't know if you saw the Specials playing on Jules Holland the other day, Joe.
I did, yes.
I mean, they performed very well. They're still sounding fantastic. But Terry Hall didn't look as if he wanted to be there in the slightest. Or do you think that that's just his shtick?
I think he's always, you know, he's never been a sort of enthusiastic performer. That's part of his skill and his mood, isn't it? That,
right, he's got a kind of lugubrious demeanour.
Yeah, that was always the sort of duality, if I may be so pretentious, of their music, wasn't it?
It's getting me hot.
You know, they sung about slightly depressing things,
right?
But in a sort of cheerful, scarry
upbeat way, yeah.
Yeah, but then with sort of gloomy, moody bass lines and stuff.
I wanted to reach in and give him a little tickle and a hug. Mm-hmm. How would he have responded? Slap me away?
I don't know, it's hard to tell. I think he would have liked it. I've met him once,
yeah.
And he was very nice indeed.
Well, there's no question that he's a nice fella.
Yeah.
But as far as your performing persona goes, you know what I mean?
But it's good. There's room for all kinds of moods, shades, colours.
Is there?
You know, yeah, on the spectrum, on the pop spectrum.
Yeah, absolutely true. Anyway, I was very happy to see them back again. They sounded great. And
I tell you what I worry about on Later.
What do you worry about?
It's Jules's presentational style. It's because it's almost incomprehensible. It's a band. It's becoming incomprehensible. It's a brilliant band. It's a fantastic noise. By Jack Panate.
That's all right. All the key facts are there. The salient points. Yeah, brilliant band, exciting. Yeah. Jack Pagnate.
He just seemed a bit drunk on that one. Do you think he gets a little bit drunk?
No, he's too professional.
No, he's too professional.
That's his thing, man.
He's not drunk.
Yeah.
Definitely not. He's definitely not drunk.
He might have a little flute of champagne at the Hootenanny.
Yeah.
But the rest of the time, definitely.
I think every day's a Hootenanny.
For Jules. Wake up.
It's a 24/7 Hootenanny.
Bit of boogie
morning.
woogie.
Hootenanny. Again. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have some breakfast. It's wonderful bacon and eggs. Mum's going to the cooker. Over here's the cooker. It's brilliant. Over here, you also have the toaster. And back into the gardens. Wonderful flowers from the garden. That's him in his kitchen.
Yeah. I want to be there.
This is my wife, my children are getting in the car. Bring in the car, round of applause for the car.
I love it in Jules's world.
It's brilliant.
Can we go there?
That's how he conducts his daily life.
Every week.
We should get him to do some links for the show, shouldn't we?
Yeah, he's definitely going to now, isn't he?
Definitely. He's on his way right now in his little Fiat Punto.
You know what? I think we should do the top of hour and then get into Text the Nation after a bit more music from New Order. How about that?
I went on holiday to Spain, and me and my lady partner, we booked a couple of nights in a very posh spa hotel.
Ooh.
We thought we'd go posh at the beginning and then go a bit cheaper for the main body of the holiday.
That's strange. I would do it the other way around.
Well, we ended up spending the whole holiday in the spa. Yeah, because we didn't like the other place. Anyway, so when we first got there, we decided to book ourselves some treatment. Have you ever had that kind of thing?
Yes, I have.
Have you been to a spa and had a treatment?
Yes, on my honeymoon.
Have you had a massage?
Yeah, and it really takes it out of you.
Have you had an elaborate massage?
Certainly I have.
Like exotic orange aromas of the Himalayas.
Had the whole thing. I mean, it was everything but sensual. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, listen, let me talk you through my massage.
Certainly.
I was very excited, and my problem is I find massage, whoever does it, slightly erotic.
Of course.
Even a sort of grisly old football manager massaging David Beckham's shin.
Your sports injuries.
I would imagine there was a sexy frisson.
Sure.
An unavoidable sexy frisson.
Human contact.
So that's the first thing that gets me anxious before the massage, which is supposed to be a very relaxing thing. That's the whole point.
And it's not something you do very often, presumably.
No, one does it as a special treat.
Special treat. Poo-poo.
So I thought, I'm going to be so relaxed. When I finish this massage, I'm going to be more relaxed than any man has ever been.
Was your lady partner having the massage at the same time in the same room?
She had hers before.
But in a different room, right?
In the same room.
In the same room, but you weren't there
there was only
together.
one massage. It was very boutique, this place, Adam. It's one massage room. It was cleaned between massages. Anyway, I thought, after this massage, I'm going to be so relaxed I'll be unable to walk.
Sure.
But weirdly, the massage made me very tense for the following reasons. Reason one was the erotic nature of the massage, and I knew I was going to expose my naked body to this woman
totally
in a
naked.
way. Well, it wasn't naked, but so I go into this little room, and the following sort of music is playing in the background. This isn't the real music, but I've attempted to recreate the sort of music in the massage room.
Nice and new agey.
Thank you. Can you hear the Amazonian?
Sure, the birds. There's chanting.
Yeah, that was what was going on.
Was that you chanting there?
No, well, that's me, but I'm just trying to capture the
I love music
actual
like this.
chanting that
I
was
genuinely
going on.
do.
So I go into this room, this music's playing, this very lovely woman with black curly hair, all wearing sort of floppy black clothing. She's got limited English, so she says, "Hello, sit. Please take off clothes."
Oh.
I go, okay, so I take off my clothes modestly, and she exits for
Not
that.
all clothes.
But she leaves me a tiny, tiny plastic bag. Very small, what one might call a dime bag.
Right.
With some sort of article of clothing in it. So she leaves the room, I unwrap the article of clothing, and it's the smallest little paper thong you've ever set your eyes upon.
A thong.
So I slip on this tiny thong, completely
with a
naked
towel?
now, with a little piece of string going between my buttocks, and a tiny little bag for my bits and bobbins at the front. And I put this thing on, and I feel very exposed. I think the woman can't come back into the room and see me like this.
No.
So I wrap a towel around myself.
Sure.
She comes back in, she says, "Take off towel."
Ooh.
I take off the towel, reveal my tiny little man packet.
Yeah.
That's not in a state of interest. You might have to loop the massage music, James. So I'm feeling a bit compromised because of that,
She
know.
starts giggling.
She repressed a smile, and I lay on the bed, and my massage involved being covered in oils and then rubbed with salt.
Mm-hmm.
Then, it was like a chicken being prepared.
Wow.
And then she put some sort of herbal sauce on me. And
Coriander.
she was being very invasive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not that. She was being very uninvasive with the thumbs, but they did get very, very close to certain areas.
Special places.
And it was oily. So if she'd slipped, that thumb would have gone right up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was within seconds of happening.
Well, she's a professional. She's
Does
not going to let
sort
that
of thing
happen.
to you?
Not on a regular
It's
basis.
No.
But it did. I mean, I know what you mean. The massage I had, I mean, it was
It's
extreme.
an inch away from danger. at all points.
But listen, how did you feel afterwards?
Well, there was... let me just get to a moment in the middle. I was lying on this bed. I was lying on a sheet of plastic covered in oil and salt and herbs.
Coriander, yeah.
And then she wraps me up in this plastic, because that's part of the, treatment.
She pops you in the oven.
And she says, I leave for 10 minutes. You lie, relax. So I left... she left the room, and I was lying there wrapped in plastic, covered in all these things, listening to the massage music. We just fade up the massage music for a bit to try and recreate that moment. And for about a minute, I felt really relaxed.
Yeah.
But then I started to feel like an idiot. Like this was the stupidest thing to be doing. Lying wrapped in plastic in a tiny little room, completely on my own, listening to, insane...
Good music, I like
good music.
Yeah.
To good Amazonian chanting.
Sure it is.
That's the end of the story. She came back in, I unpeeled my plastic, I had a shower, washed it all off, and I sort of felt weirder and more tense than I did when I went in.
Yeah, did you, because the thing that can happen with a massage, like a really amazing massage, is that afterwards you feel totally drained, and it brings like a lot of toxins out of you. I don't know what exactly it does to you, but you feel much worse than you did before you went in, like for a day.
Tell you the other thing she did, is she massaged my face, and I didn't know what expression to have on my face. Do you know what I mean? Because my eyes are closed and hers are open.
Yeah.
I wanted her to think I was really relaxed. So I tried to look as relaxed as possible. Then she starts massaging my face in such a way that it opens my mouth. Like that. So I'm making silly little noises while she's massaging my face. Anyway, this whole very serious ritual to me was just like a comic assault course.
That's the other thing that can happen, is you can get the giggles. Our friend Garth was telling me about when he got a massage, and he just started laughing hysterically, and he couldn't stop. Like every single touch, he was just howling with laughter. And they weren't able to administer the proper massage in the end because he was incapacitated by chuckles.
I got hurt me quite badly as well.
Yeah.
Her thumbs were really causing me pain, and I didn't want to say anything because I thought it would be unmanly.
It was unmanly for you to go and get the massage in the first
place, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was expensive as well.
I bet. That was nice. It was relaxing just hearing the story and hearing the music.
Yeah, we might put my massage music up on the blog as well. And then if you want to do an erotic massage with your partner, you will have some inauthentic Amazonian rainforest chanting.
Send us the video. Do you mind if I just do a little massage on you during this next song? This is Passion Pit.
Can you do the balls?
Of your feet?
Yes.
Yes, certainly.
Text the nation. Text the nation.
What if I don't want to?
Text the nation.
But I'm using email. Is that a problem?
It doesn't matter. Text.
These are your some responses to Text the Nation, which is all about interviews or auditions and awful experiences you've had therein. This is from Simon in Wimbledon. I had an interview for an engineering firm last year. Partway through, my phone rang, but luckily it was on silent and only vibrating. I tried shifting my leg to move the phone deeper into my pocket to reduce the sound of the buzzing, but in doing so, answered the phone. It was my mother, and I also put it on speakerphone accidentally.
What a loony.
All with my dexterous right thigh. Hello? Simon, are you there? It's Mummy, said the voice. Needless to say, the rejection letter I received 3 days later was very polite.
Well, you don't want to work for a firm that's going to reject you on the basis of a mummy call.
I know, you would be hired instantly by the Adam and Joe Corp.
Absolutely.
Just for still using the word mummy, you'd be right in there.
Yeah, you'd be made MD.
In fact, that's one of our application criteria.
Exactly. Do you call your parents mum and dad or mummy and daddy? And they'll get all confused and they'll think, oh, I don't know.
What's the right answer?
Mum and dad probably is the coolest thing. Mum and dad, thank you very much for coming in. Get out!
Here's another one from Meriel. She says, at the end of an interview which I thought had gone well, the interviewer got up to say goodbye. He stood uncomfortably close to me. So I thought, oh, he's going to kiss me.
What?
Okay, just go with it. Don't be uptight. It's all very media. So I kissed him. Only to look down to see his outstretched hand, waiting to shake mine.
So I kissed that too.
It still makes me cringe 3 years on. Well done, Muriel. Again, you would have got the job at the Big British Castle instantly.
Yeah,
we would have got more than you bargained for, probably. At that very interview.
Hello.
Hey.
You're our kind of girl. Now, you're not the kind of person who causes
trouble, are you? That's our rigorous interview procedure.
Here's one from an anonymous texter. I'm a casting director and have had many difficult audition times. One particularly awkward audition I recall was when I was working with a very well-known director who asked an actor the typical question, "So, what have you done recently?" To which the actor replied, "No, you first." Needless to say, he didn't get the job.
That's great.
You might as well, if you kind of sense you're not going to get the job, you might as well... No,
but no, because then you get a reputation.
Because the reason these casting directors are so... eccentric and difficult is there not many of them, and they're enormously powerful.
Sure.
Right? There's 4 or 5 really famous casting directors in London who American studios hire to see actors, and they're megalomaniacs.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm never going to get an acting job now that I've said that. They've got maybe a distorted sense of power, possibly.
Yeah.
I'm sure some of them are very nice and lovely. Some of them are lovely. They're brilliant. They're brilliant people.
Well, the guy I had yesterday was amazing.
He was amazing.
He was nice.
Oh, yeah.
But no, sometimes they're brutal. I mean, you hear all sorts of stories. There's an actor friend I had the other day who was that came out wrong. There's an actor friend I know. I didn't have them, and they were telling a story about doing an audition where the casting director was just flicking through like a copy of Heat.
Really?
Yeah.
That shouldn't be allowed.
That's a cattle call. That's no good.
Here's another one from Kate, who says, an interviewer asked me, when you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? I truthfully answered, a fairy. She looked appalled, so I hastily corrected, well, Queen of the Fairies. She looked so shocked that I started giggling and couldn't stop. I didn't get the job.
An executive fairy. In charge of a large department of a fairy task force.
Here's one from Tamsin.
Aggregating fairy power.
I had a fit of giggles in my first job interview many years ago when the interviewer asked me if I saw myself having a, quote, big job in the future. Oh dear. Lindsay, Norwich, who supplies her age, 31. When I was 18, I went to an interview for the role of campsite person. I was asked what my worst characteristic was, to which I replied, sometimes I get a bit angry. I've never worked on a campsite.
These are very good.
It's the understatement that really sells that, isn't it?
The snow